I used to think I was one of the easygoing ones. Flexible, unbothered, good in a crisis. The kind of person who could absorb a lot without making a fuss about it. I was genuinely proud of that. It took me an embarrassingly long time to realize I wasn't easygoing. I was just scared. Scared that if I said the wrong thing, the atmosphere would change. Scared that if I pushed back, something would break. Scared that my needs, my actual needs, were somehow too much for the people around me to hold. So I learned to not have needs, or at least to pretend I didn't. And here's the wild part. I didn't decide to do that. I didn't sit down one day and think, right, from now on I'm going to make myself invisible. It just happened. Somewhere between childhood and adulthood, I picked up a set of rules I never agreed to, and then I spent decades living by them without ever questioning where they came from. That's what this series is about. Not the medical textbook version of the nervous system. You can Google that. I want to talk about the version that actually shows up in your life, in the relationships that keep going the same way, in the goals that keep slipping through your fingers, in the gap between who you know you could be and who you actually show up as on a Tuesday morning. Because I spent years thinking that gap was a willpower problem, a discipline problem, a me problem. And it wasn't any of those things. It was a nervous system problem. And once I started to understand that, everything started to look different. Let me paint you a picture. There's a kid, 7, maybe 8 years old, and they've had a good day. Something small happened at school, a moment that felt big to them. And they come home buzzing, ready to share it. But they walk through the door and they feel it immediately. The atmosphere. Something's heavy. Mum's stressed, or dad's tense, or money's tight, or whatever it is. The room has an energy, and it's not a good one. And in that split second, without thinking, without deciding, the kid reads the room. Goes quiet. Tucks the good thing away. Makes themselves small. Now, if that happens once, it's just a moment. It happens 100 times, it becomes instinct. It happens throughout childhood, it becomes your personality. Or at least, you think it's your personality. I thought it was mine for a very long time. I thought I was just someone who didn't make a fuss, who kept things smooth, who was strong enough to let things go. But strength and silence aren't the same thing, and I confused them for years. Here's what I've come to understand. The nervous system is the part of you that's been paying attention your whole life. Every experience, every moment, every time you spoke up and it went wrong, every time you stayed quiet and it was safer. Your nervous system was watching all of it. And it was taking notes, building rules. This is safe. This isn't. This is how we survive here. And those rules, they don't live in your head. They live in your body, in your gut, in the tightness in your chest right before you're about to say something honest, in the automatic yes that comes out of your mouth before you've even decided what you want. That's not a character flaw. That's a learned response. The problem is, it's still running, long after the situations that created it are gone. There's something I find almost funny about this in retrospect. I spent years genuinely believing I was choosing to be accommodating, choosing to keep the peace, choosing to be the bigger person. And people around me probably believed it too. But choice implies you considered the options. I never considered the options. The response was just automatic. Someone needed something, I provided it. Someone was upset, I absorbed it. Something needed smoothing over, I smoothed it. Before my brain had caught up, my body had already decided. That's not choice. That's a program running. And the tricky thing about programs is, they don't announce themselves. They just run in the background, shaping everything. And you think it's just you, just who you are. Let me give you another example. Imagine someone who grew up in a house where showing emotion wasn't really done. Not in a dramatic way, just nobody talked about feelings much. You dealt with things. You got on with it. And so this person learned, early on, that how they really felt was better kept private. Fast forward to their adult relationships. Their partner asks how they're doing. Fine. Always fine. Even when they're not fine. Fine. Their partner starts feeling like they can't reach them, like there's a wall. Eventually, things break down. And this person is genuinely confused. I was there. I showed up. I never caused any drama. What went wrong? But fine isn't presence. Fine is protection. And the nervous system that learned showing how you really feel isn't safe. That same nervous system quietly, faithfully, dismantled every relationship that required real vulnerability. Not deliberately, not consciously, just running the program it learned. If that one hit close to home, drop it in the comments. Just the word fine. I'll know what you mean. I want to be honest with you about something. Understanding this doesn't fix it overnight. I know that because I understand it. I've thought about it, written about it, built a whole series around it, and I still catch myself running the old program sometimes. Still catch the automatic yes before my brain arrives. Still notice the moment I've gone quiet in a conversation when I actually had something to say. The difference is, I notice now. And for a long time, I didn't. For a long time, I just thought, this is who I am. This is just my personality. Some people are talkers, some people are quiet. Some people push back, some people keep the peace. But here's the thing nobody told me. There's a version of you that existed before the rules were written, before your nervous system decided what was safe and what wasn't, before you learned to make yourself small, before you figured out that your needs were better kept quiet. There was a you before all of that. And that version of you, the one who hadn't learned to brace yet, that's not who you used to be. That's who you actually are. And the work, and we're going to talk about what that work really looks like, the work is just about finding your way back to that, not becoming someone new, remembering who you were before the world convinced you to be something else. Now I know how that sounds. It sounds simple, maybe even a little idealistic. And I won't pretend the road back is a straight one, because it isn't. Some days I catch the pattern straight away. Some days I've been running it for a week before I even notice. Some days awareness feels like progress. Some days it just feels like knowing what you're doing wrong without being able to stop doing it. But you can't change what you can't see. And the fact that you're here, listening to this, something in you recognizing something in these words, that means you're starting to see it. That's not a small thing. That's actually where everything begins. Next episode, we're going to look at how your specific story, your specific life, wrote the rules your nervous system is still living by. Because this isn't a general human condition piece. This is your thing. And understanding the shape of it, in your life, is where it starts to get real. And if something in this episode caught you, if a word or a moment made you stop, tell me which one. Because that's probably exactly where your work begins. This is Afro Sage.